Yeah. Look at her. The range is huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it goes all the way over to the other side. So if she moves one over, she's in the center of the house. What we'll also do is we need to put our garden over here on the left side.
Yeah.
But we'll do that a different night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think a lot of that is laid out in the video. The thing that I wanted to do is wanted to tell you was around swear words, special effects. Good name. Thanks for the follow, man. What's up, Biddy Jr.? How you doing?
Groovy.
No, not the ads. The around what we don't do at our house as a matter of practice is we don't really put a lot of energy around that sort of stuff. Because here's what happens is as a parent, you end up putting energy around one thing, and then when the kids get out of school, that's going to be what they're all about. They're going to try it and go head first into it. It's going to be whether you put a lot of energy into around, drugs or booze or swearing or cheeseburgers or whatever.
Cheeseburgers.
If you put, all right, hang on. Here, all right, good. We are going to put those. We'll put something cool in that one. If you put too much energy around it and you press it down, it will pop out in a different thing of society. If you kind of just let everything level out, it's weird. Okay, so here's a good example. Utah has a really giant... No, you haven't broken any rules, Sean. You're good. Utah has a giant influence of Mormon and purity and all of this sort of thing. And, there's this surface level of religion and, it's kind of enforced at the societal level, right? I have a bunch of good buddies who are Mormon. I kind of feel like I know what they're all about, all that sort of stuff. So I'm speaking from at least a secondhand, fairly informed experience. You roll up on Utah and, number one, it's like the number one most used state for pornography. Hey, Mop Op, thanks for the follow, man.
What's pornography?
Videos of people having sex.
Oh.
Dirty movies. So that's the technical term for it. So when you push down on one section of society, it pops out another place. And that's one of the ways it pops out. You push down on this end, and it pops out in religion. In Europe, they used to push down on drugs really hard, and it pops out in a different, it pushes against that really hard.
And lowers their population.
And then you have all this rehab, and you have all this other stuff. In Japan, there's all of this societal pressure on work and family and all of that sort of stuff in shame in society. And where it pops out is Japan has some freaky stuff in the things that they like to do. Right in cartoon characters sexually versus weird stuff with women. That's it's weird. It's like another. You go there and they're human, but it's like another planet. You go into Japan. And they push out in a different way. What the European nations have done with drugs is they realize if they don't push down so hard, it kind of finds its own level, and people just kind of cool out at a certain level. And there's not a lot of thank you Kenichi. There's not a lot of pushback on drugs, and so when they Portugal has made all kinds of drugs legal. They've legalized just about everything. Kappa. They legalized everything, so nothing is illegal. And lo and behold, rehab goes down rehab numbers go down, domestic abuse goes down, suicide goes down, crime goes down. Like, people quit pushing back against that so hard because it's no longer prohibited. So, let me do this. There we go.
It's like they get it, or they just like get it off their chest really quick, then they're done with it.
Or suddenly doing drugs is not a big deal because everybody has them and everybody can get them, and so suddenly it's not a really big deal. And oddly enough, drug overdoses and general drug use and drug rehab really goes down because it's no longer prohibited. What they've done is they've changed the cage. And the metaphor for changing the cage is there's a rat experiment. It's called Rat Park. You can look this up. You can Google Rat Park experiment. Hey, what's up, Xverse2099? Thanks for the follow, man. There's a, let me see what time it is. All right, we're doing good. Oh, there he is. Hang on, I gotta take this text message. Hang on. Yep. And Google this message. It's Rat Park experiment. And so what happens is in this rat park, there was mice or something, right? I think it's called a rat park. They had just a cage. Okay. Look at all these notches down here. A rat was in just a cage, and then they offered it heroin it's cocaine. And so what happens is the rat has really nothing else in its cage but water, food, and heroin. And so nothing else. So then it tries this heroin, and then it uses the heroin until it's dead. All right? So now, and it's addicted, and so then what happens is a rat is now addicted to heroin. They get a similar rat addicted to heroin or cocaine. I think it's cocaine is the drug. One of those drugs. And what they end up doing is instead of just keeping it there and trying to do different things and trying to break it of its habit, what they do is instead they move it into a different cage. They put in a cage with a bunch of toys and a bunch of things to do. They put in there a bunch of his rat buddies so he can play with and he can interact, and he can play around. He's got other games. He's got different types of food he can go try. Sure enough, the rat ditches the heroin, no problem. Ditches the cocaine, no problem, and then ends up kicking the habit, right? So here's the takeaway, gents, is look, don't push back and try and get the rat to just quit or do rehab on the heroin. The point is, first change the cage. So that metaphor is very strong. It's like, what are you doing to change the cage? Because it's a far more effective way to rehab the rat than in all these experiments than it is to do like rehabs and chemical dependency and try and get it. A lot of ways you get off of some of the harder drugs is to get on, I think it's lithium, I want to say, something crazy, and it makes you dopey as dopey. Like it really like completely dulls your senses, man. And so it's exchanging drug number one for drug number two, but the person still in the same cage. So GamerX, type exclamation point uptime. You can figure out how long this stream is. If you're saying how long have I been streaming career-wise, July 4th of last year, July 4th weekend is when we started. So we're going to call that, that's America's birthday. And we'll say it's America's stream's birthday. This is America's stream right here.
Dad?
What? It's like America's team? It's America's stream. What?
Can you text Mom for some water?
She is not in this building. She had to go do some training, something.
Can you text Danny?
I'm going to go get some here in a second.
Okay.